gonna set something up for you guys really quick and then keep going. Second here. Ooh, all right, cool. Yeah, so my name is Lindsay Musser Pacheco, and I'm a client retention, client appreciation specialist. And what that means is that I focus on helping people retain clients through appreciation and gratitude. And that's something that is greatly overlooked nowadays. Every year, the NAR does a study, and they say that over 80% of people say they love their real estate agent and say they would use them again. And if you've taken bold, you might know this. Only about 9, I've heard as high as 14% of people can actually name their real estate agent when asked. And I just want to take a minute to think about that for a second. And it's not the only industry where the numbers are like that. Forbes did a study that 68% of people feel that their salesperson, so that could be real estate, insurance, their mortgage person, anything like that. 68% of people feel that their salesperson was indifferent to the relationship. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been in sales for a while. I'm not indifferent about any of my clients. I care a lot about them, but it's not always easy to communicate that to folks in an effective way. And so that's one of the things that I study and that we try and provide clients ways to handle and strategies to work on that. And just to give you an idea of the awards, the rewards that are available in this area, Forbes also says it's 50% easier and less expensive to retain a client or work with an existing client than it is to try and go out and catch a new one. And I know we don't have everybody on video, but for those of you who are, can you just give me a little wave if you might agree that it's a lot easier, more fun even, to work with somebody that you already work with than to pick up somebody new? Yeah, absolutely. So the big challenge in the industry is, yeah, I see a hand clap. That's great. So the big challenge in the industry is, how do we make that happen? How do we create a stickiness in the minds of people? Because the truth is that people are just naturally forgetful. Most people have a hard time even remembering the name of the person that they worked with. And that's across the board, regardless of how pleased they are with us, our work with them, right? So I want to emphasize that studies show that it's not enough just to do a great service. That's sort of the minimum now, that people want to be happy with you. But in order to earn their business again, we have to go over and above and beyond. We have to be good at branding, marketing, and creating what's called top of mind awareness with the clients. We call that TOMA, T-O-M-A, creating top of mind awareness with the client. And I remember learning about this for the first time. I've been in sales for about 20 years. And my company recruited me, by the way, literally when I was 17. So I'll talk about my company in a second, but they're one of the largest recruiters of college students in the entire country. And so I actually started a little bit younger than that. I was a junior in high school. So I was totally new to sales and business and marketing, and nothing was natural. I was just completely inexperienced. And I remember the first time that one of the record-breaking salespeople in our company talked about how much of his business was reorders and past clients, and I was blown away. And I remember thinking that, yeah, if I look at all the people I've sold to so far, and then if I could just guarantee repeat business from them again, and then put new business on top of it, that's exponential growth. So how do we do that? And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. The reason I had everybody put the numbers, how long you've been here, was I wanted to get a little sense of how much experience we have on the call and everything. So I started working with real estate agents in 2008, 2009. And even for some of you who weren't a real estate agent at that time, that might ring a little bell. What was going on in 2008, 2009? The market was tanking, right? Like hard tank. People were leaving the industry left and right. And that's when I started selling closing gifts to real estate agents. And I got a lot of comments about that. People inside the industry, outside the industry, they'd all say, what are you doing trying to sell anything to real estate agents at this time? Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows how many closings they're going to have, in the next X amount of months. This is crazy. And I'm bringing that up because I just want to encourage everybody before we dive into some of the material on this call. I just want to encourage people that this is not the first time there's been any sort of challenge in the real estate industry. And I certainly don't want to downplay a pandemic, but if you were around in 2008, 2009, you might remember a time when it was so hard to get a closing through. People would be able to put down 20% and still not be able to get a loan. There was many things outside of our control that made selling real estate hard. So we've definitely seen challenges before, and I want to put the word of encouragement out that there's a huge possibility this is all going to bounce back like a trampoline. And when it does, you want to be ready. This is the time to deepen client relationships, to love on your clients, to add value. It's not the time to be, if you've heard this term before, a secret agent. Now is the time to be a giver and a leader in your industry and your community. And there's always this lag time in this business between doing the right thing and when you get a paycheck. What you do in October determines your paycheck in November and December. And so the important thing to do is to act now and to be prepared and be ready to gather those people in so that when we're all through this, you can explode. Or another analogy I heard was, right now, you might feel like you're pulling the slingshot back, right? And you're doing all this work and there's a lot of tension and there's not a lot of results. But when the further you work, the harder you pull it back, the better your results are when you finally let go. And that's the way I want everybody to look at this time. When we're all stuck inside and there's challenges and the governor is changing things every other day, this won't last forever. So I received some really meaningful advice from someone that I really look up to. I hope it might be helpful to you as well. He said, don't let what you can't do keep you from what you can do. Don't let what you can't do keep you from what you can do. So it's clear to me now more than ever that small local business owners, we get to stand together, support one another. So I'm going to share how we can support you now and in the future. So here's a few ways to love on your clients, reach out to your clients during this time. The first thing that I'm going to give you is actually like a prerequisite. So this is not an action. This is something you need to do to take advantage of the next 6 steps, right? And if you're taking notes, this is a great thing to jot down. Define your gold group. And I'll put that in the chat. Define your gold group. What does that mean? Give me a little wave if you've heard of the 80-20 rule. Okay, a couple people heard of that, right? So define your gold group. This has to do with the 80-20 rule. I see some thumbs up. Awesome. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and just share what the 80-20 rule is? Okay, I'll share. So the 80-20 rule is that 20% of people give you 80% of your business. 20% of people give you 80% of your business, your profit, however you want to define it. In your market center, 20% of your agents are doing 80% of the business. If you open your closet, you probably wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. It can be applied to many situations, but especially in business, it's a really, really important little ratio to remember. So the 80-20 rule. What does that mean when connected to your gold group? Well, your gold group is your top 20% of your clients. It's those people who are feeding you 80% of your referrals, giving you 80% of your business, giving you 80% of your profit, those top 20% of your people. And if you can focus on those people, you would get exponential results as compared to focusing on 100% of your people. Does that make sense? The year that I made focusing on my gold group, my focus, I grew my business 46%. 46% increase. And you can do that too. The first step to loving on your gold group is to know who they are. And the biggest mistake that I see people make in any kind of business, not just real estate, is having no idea who their top 20% is. And I was at fault with that as well, right? Now, if I gave you a pencil and paper right now and told you to write your top clients down, you probably would be able to come up with quite a few of them off the top of your head. It's not hard to remember, you know, the $2 million closing that you did, or the aunt that sent you 5 different referrals that all worked out. So some of these are going to be obvious, but I guarantee you that if you use a CRM or any kind of thing to track your business and you pulled the top 20%, you'd be surprised. There'd be a couple people in there, and this 100% happened to me. There was names in there that I was like, oh shoot, that's right. So-and-so made a huge order. I haven't talked to them in 4 years, right? And so you're not alone if that's the results that you get when you pull your gold group. So the first thing you want to do in order to get started on this client appreciation journey is to define, just even know who your gold group are or who your gold group is, and you'll be a huge percentage in front of a lot of colleagues. So a few years ago, into my Cutco Closing Gift side of my business, I defined our gold group. Those people became my tribe. And I mailed them a gift letter and said, hey, welcome, congratulations, you're in my gold group. This means that you'll get special perks and deals that nobody else would. It's such a memorable way to make people feel like they're in an elite VIP club that they never want to cancel the membership to. So you're in my gold group, congratulations. And to find that whatever way you want to, you've helped me move my business ahead more than anyone else. I want to appreciate you. And 3 times a year, we do something for, my team does something for our gold group, and we just send them a little something. And so I'm going to focus today on ways that you can touch your client base for free. But I do want to mention that giving gifts is a tangible way to recognize the relationship, and they don't have to be expensive, but just doing a little touch. So we've sent out branded M&Ms, little packs of cookies, these like lollipop things that you can get cool designs for, gratitude journals, and of course a ton of Cutco, which is what I sell. But I want you to write down, we appreciate because we appreciate. We appreciate and value because we appreciate people. We love on behavior and people. We want to stay with us and refer us, not necessarily expecting anything, no strings attached, but when we give, there is a reciprocity that's automatically there. When you give and gift, it can come back tenfold. And it's in pretty exciting ways. A gift is simply a tangible acknowledgement of the relationship. And it's even better if it's long lasting, keeps you top of mind, if the client can use it daily, and if you have a chance for ROI, for it to return in a bigger way long term, versus giving something that's consumed right away and done. So just so that we are all clear on what we're talking about. So my main item that people order from me is called Cutco Knives. And give me a thumbs up or a wave if you own or have given Cutco knives in the past. All right, a couple people there, awesome. If you don't know what Cutco is, they're kind of like the Rolls Royce or the Bentley of kitchen cutlery. They're all American made. They've been around since 1949. They're 100% American made, and they're forever guaranteed. If you break one, we get you a new one. If you need to sharpen, up until a few weeks ago, we could drive out to your house and sharpen it for you on your kitchen counter. And so they're known for high quality and great customer service. And here's a piece I'm just going to tell a quick story about how giving came back to somebody. This is our spreader. This is for peanut butter, mayonnaise, cream cheese. You can get all the way to the bottom of a giant jar of mayonnaise or something without it getting all over your knuckles. You can cut and serve lasagna, pizza, cakes, pies, get like under the first slice of the pie. This is super useful right now. Give me a little wave if you're making like more sandwiches and eating stuff like bagels than you have in the past, right? So people are using this every single day. And what we do is we put the agent's logo, name, and number on it. They can engrave it, right? So we can put a logo, name, and number. You can see even with that reflection, you can see it on the Zoom camera there. And it's easy for someone to just get that reminder that you gave it to them. So one of my favorite stories about this is I have a client, KW client in the media office. So she's in Pennsylvania, and she gave this to a seller who moved to California. And 2 years later, the lady called her back and she gave her a referral for her sister-in-law or something that was still in this area, still in Pennsylvania. And I don't know about you guys, but I hear a lot of agents say that they have a hard time keeping in touch with sellers. They want to, but they're not sure if that person is worth it because they moved away. So can they still give them business? And my answer is absolutely yes. No matter how far they're moving away, their circle of influence is still here. Like if they've lived here for more than 5 years, they can still give you leads. And that's exactly what happened to Terry. She gave her seller who was moving to California the Cutco spreader piece. The person moved. I'm sure they lost a lot of other advertising and marketing. They didn't bring with them the calendar with the schedule of the Phillies on it. They didn't bring a business card with them, but they weren't going to throw away their Cutco piece. And they brought it with them. And 2 years later, they sent the referral back and she said to them, hey, just so I know, what did I do right to keep in touch with you? How did you guys still have my name and number after all this? Just send me the referral. And the client said, oh, we've been looking at your spreader every day. Of course we remember you. We've been looking at your spreader every day since we moved. They took it with them. So that's just a story of choosing to give a gift that was long-term and branded and was something that the client would use every day. It wouldn't get used up and thrown away like alcohol, a gift basket, a gift card, one of those things. So it's something to keep in mind as you're choosing your gifts. Strategic appreciation is simply giving something that has the best chance of increasing referrals and strengthening retention. Keeping in mind, something that reminds the client of the experience that they have with you. And one last note about defining your gold group. So you pull your top 20% of people from your CRM or any kind of list that you have. You're going to want to appreciate them in one way or another, even if it's just a letter telling them that they are in your gold group. People love to hear that. And my last tip is share your goals. Share your goals effectively. Successful people love to hear about other people's success. And when I first started selling Cutco, I had a little hard time with that. I felt like I was bragging or, I don't know, just unnecessary attention on myself when I said, hey, client, my goal is to be the #1 rep in the region or possibly even the nation this year. And someone gave me the advice that I should share my goals. When I was young and started with Cutco, my biggest goal was just paying for school. I went to a private school that my parents sat me down and I was in love with this college, right? We visited a whole bunch of different schools and I had my heart set on this one. My parents sat me down and said, well, we can afford a semester of this. What do you want to do after that? And I said, well, I guess I'm going to sell more knives. So that is my short story of how I got into Cutco. They have a scholarship program. And so I was selling during that school age. But I noticed that when I shared my goals with customers, they really identified with it and wanted to help me more than I even thought. So I just want to throw that quick note in there. Everyone, but especially your gold group. Why are they your gold group? They like you a lot and they're probably fairly successful with their life, right? I'm guessing that there's nobody in your gold group who's like completely unemployed and going nowhere. They would not be someone who's giving you 80% of your business, right? Most people in your gold group are going to be somewhere on the success range and they're going to want to hear about your goals and your success, and sharing it, even if those goals are audacious and big, it gets people behind you and they want to contribute. I see a question here. This is a great question. Corey says, as an agent in the business under 1 year, I've only done about 6 deals so far. Is it too early to have a gold group? Great question. Absolutely not. In fact, the earlier you start this, the better it will be. So with 6 people, your gold group is probably going to be 1. It's your best client, right? But put yourself in their shoes. If you dealt with someone and you did some business with them and they came back to you and they said, hey, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, you're my top client. I appreciate you. There's going to be some perks to that down the road. You helped me out. I'm going to have your back. I want to appreciate you. And here's, whatever. Thank you for being in my gold group and one of my top clients. So it's only you. How would you feel if someone said to that? You're going to feel special, right? So it's only in your head that you're thinking, well, I'm telling them they're top 1 out of 6. That's not that great. But in their mind, hey, I'm new and I haven't been doing this very long, but you're my top client and I want to appreciate you for that. That sort of gratitude is going to come back. So great question, Corey. I would say absolutely not. You cannot start this too early. The earlier you start making people feel special in your business, the more rewards you're going to reap from that. So I'm glad you're on the call. Great to have you. Okay, so 6 free ways you can reach out to your database during this time. Number 1, write down 10 calls a day. 10 calls a day. If you're new, this will include a lot of prospects. If you're not new, you can keep calling past clients first. So 10 calls a day. And I do mean actually call, like an actual phone call, not just a text. People are home now. They're super receptive. They have the time. And guys, you really don't need a fancy script for this. I've been calling at least 10 of my clients every day. And if I had a script, it's literally just, hey, this is Lindsay, your Cutco lady, just calling to check in on you. How you guys doing during all this? Crazy times, huh? And let them talk. And I call this taking the client's temperature. How they respond to your question, how are you guys doing? Crazy times, is going to tell you whether they're sort of hot or cold in terms of their positivity or their negativity right now. So one of the biggest questions that people are asking me at the moment is, you know, hey, during this pandemic and all this crazy, should I be asking, like, how can I ask people for business while all of this is going on? And my answer is, well, you might not ask everyone for business, but you are going to create a presence. You're going to appreciate them. You're going to give some sort of value, and you're going to remind people that you are in the business and you're ready to help them when they are ready. And the reason I mentioned checking somebody's temperature during the check-in call is that, guys, there are a huge amount of people that are just fine during this. To give you a little insight into my specific business. So people buy this not just for closing gifts, but a lot of people buy Cutco just for their own home, right? And the first week of the pandemic and the craziness, I spent sort of figuring out how to pivot. And we rewrote some scripts for my team, and we just put some things in place and whatever. But the second week, I started doing these check-in calls and got $9,000 worth of orders. So $9,000 worth of knives during all the craziness in the second week of being like in full lockdown. And the next week we did the same thing, and I sold just shy of 9,000. It was like 8,760 something. And now I'm in the third week of like full, I guess maybe it's the fourth week, whatever, third week of doing activity. And we're at 5 so far. So what I'm telling you is I'm talking to a lot of people who say, oh yeah, you know, both of us are still getting paid. We're working from home. It's a little crazy doing school with the kids during all this. And we're, you know, driving each other nuts, but it's all good. And there are people on your database that are like that too. I don't know if you guys have seen there's a text going around that was in a lab coats agent group, but some lady listed, I'll try and email this out later. Some lady listed all the examples of people who have to move during this time. And it was pretty interesting. Some of them were sad situations. Like if someone needs to get out of an abusive situation, they need to move right now. Other ones were like, you know, somebody has a child who needs to be closer to a hospital for treatment, not for COVID, but just for like general things. And they need to move. There was a lot of reasons where people would have to move now. An older couple who downsized and put their house on the market and wasn't real worried about when it would sell until the stock market fell a little bit recently, and now they need that house money to stay in the home that they've downsized to. I'm not the expert on those specific details, but watching that post by this agent just really made very clear to me the specifics of the people that need to move. And if they can't right this very second, they're going to need to do it as soon as possible, as soon as things open back up. And so when you take people's temperature, hey, how you guys doing? It's Anthony, your realtor, just checking in on you. How you guys doing? Is there anything I can do for you, real estate related or not? And they'll let you know how they're doing. And if their temperature is hot, if they're in that upper end of like, yeah, doing okay, just like, you know, shopping online a lot, then they're the type of people that they want to be the first that you may want to mention business to and say, oh yeah, well, hey, I'm just trying to, you know, navigate this whole thing as well as I can. Listen, if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, you're going to let me know because I'm your favorite, right? I'm your favorite agent. Yeah. Okay. So build up the relationship. Don't be afraid to ask for business. If their temperature is cold, I might back away from that a little bit more, right? If somebody lost their job and things are scary, they know somebody that's in the hospital, then you want to just be a listening ear for them and a shoulder to cry on and a leader, a pillar of strength, and offer any resources and care that you can. So the first way is just a check-in call, 10 calls a day. If you did that, just a minimum, you would build your database during this time more than most agents are going to do. There are many people who are backing away during this time, and this is a chance for you to step in and move forward. Tip number 2, send a video. Send a video. People love videos. Raise your hand or give me a little thumbs up if you've heard of Marco Polo, the like video app. Anybody know what that is? I'll put that in the chat thing. So it's an app where you can send videos back and forth to each other. You don't have to do that. You can video yourself and send it over text. I've done a lot of those. My favorite time to send a video message is during somebody's birthday. And if you don't have your clients' birthdays in your CRM, start doing that. Sending a card, or I think the video is often even better than a card because it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of the junk mail. And it's not really special anymore to like post on their Facebook wall, right? But to send them a video of, hey, this is Corey, and I just wanted to say I knew it's your birthday today. Have a great one. Give them some sort of specialized, if they like bourbon, mention, hey, drink one for me. Like, give them something that's a little bit more personal, and send them a 30-second birthday message. That's a great one. But you can really send any kind of video. To my Golds group, I made a quick 60-second video that was like just some encouragement, talking a little bit about the stuff that I said earlier, about the crash of 2008, how we've all been through tough times, and we know that we're champions and we can come through this on the other side stronger than ever. Sending out like a quick check-in type of thing, or an encouragement video, something like that. So a fun video. Okay, Solon has another new agent question. How would you suggest finding 10 people a day a call? Great question. I am huge on your circle of influence. In Cutco, we would call this your names list. If you take out your cell phone and start at the A's and start scrolling through it. Now, I know we've all got random people on our cell phones that we, met at a party, or, like, you're like, who's this? But even excluding those people, I bet you have hundreds of people in your phone. And now more than ever is a time where it would not be awkward to reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a long time and just say that. Hey man, I know we haven't touched base for really long, or even I haven't seen you since college. Like, it can be crazy, but why wouldn't you call someone during this? In fact, one of my top agents told me, and this is intense, right? This is a very strong opinion, but this is what she said. She said, my theory is if you don't call someone during this time, that you're basically communicating to them that you don't care if they're okay or not. Right? And that hit me. I was like, wow, there's a couple of people that I'm good friends with that I haven't checked in on yet, just because, whatever. And if I look at it through that lens, and again, that might be a little bit extreme statement, right? But just let's think about that for a minute. She's not that far off base, right? If we don't call, if we don't check in, what are we communicating to the person that we don't call? And so if you're a new agent, you need to be working your sphere of influence no matter what. It takes people a couple times for them to even remember that you're in real estate. So it's okay to check in with them, and remind them that this is your new thing. Or with this particular call, you're just doing the check-in and you kind of want to work real estate in there softly, but don't be afraid to reach out to people. We used to call it your chicken list. It's the people on your phone that you're like scrolling, you're looking at all your contacts and you're like, nah, that would be weird. I haven't talked to them in a while, right? And I need to tell you, from 20 years experience in sales, your chicken list is your hottest book of business. There are so many people. I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but Solon, I'm so glad you said this, because I'll tell you guys a quick story. When I was in my second or third year of selling Cutco, and for anybody that doesn't know, when they recruit the kids to Cutco, it's a different program than what I do with the real estate agents now. They call up all their family and friends and get paid to just show them the knives, cut some stuff with them in the kitchen, and see if they want to order anything, right? And so I was doing that. I was on my scholarship program, and our manager had us write down a names list. They just had us try and list everybody we could possibly think of that we knew who could buy Cutco. And they told us, you're going to have some people on there that you're chicken to call, and they're going to be your best clients. And I was like, okay. And I remember so clearly this one guy that was on my chicken list. Funny enough, he's a real estate agent. At the time, that didn't matter to me, right? But I finally got up the guts to call. I remember I had to pump myself up on this for so long, like just to get the guts to do it. And I finally called, and his wife said, oh, absolutely, we would love to have you over. I got to their house, and they already had a full set of Cutco. So for me, that was a letdown, right? I was like, oh no, now. But then I remembered that we also make some cookware. We make other stuff for the kitchen too. So I showed them this cookware set. I hadn't sold anybody a cookware set yet. It was like a newer thing in the line. I didn't even know much about it. And it was a couple $1,000s, the big set. And I remember Eileen, his wife, looking at me and saying, you know, we just got our kitchen remodeled, and we've definitely been looking for some new pots and pans. I haven't gotten a chance to really like do my research and compare different brands yet, but you know what, Lindsay, we know you, we trust you. I'm going to go ahead and get this one. And it blew me away, because I had literally spent months being scared to call them, thinking that it was weird because I felt that I didn't know them that much. And here she is telling me that she's going to make a several $1,000 decision because she knows me and she trusts me. And I knew them through church. And every time after she got her set that I would see her, she would bring it up and say, hey, we love our new Cutco cookware set. We love it. We used it yesterday. She was always like almost more excited to tell me about her Cutco set than to see me. And so I share that story with you real quick, just to give you an example from my world of what a chicken list can look like. And I guarantee you guys have people on your list, just people you know, that for whatever reason you're a little scared to talk to because you haven't talked to them recently, or you think it might be awkward, or maybe the last time you talked to them, it was something was weird. Give them a check-in, see how they're doing during Corona. Now is the time to repair that relationship. And I guarantee you there's some people on there who are going to bring you some great business. I'm going to fly through the next couple tips because we only have a little bit of time left. So 10 check-in calls a day. Go through your sphere of influence if you don't have that many past customers. Send a video. People love videos. 3, handwrite 5 cards or letters a day. This is the most vital time for that. People need connection. And again, this is like an old-fashioned thing. I don't know if you guys ever, anybody grew up with like a grandma always telling you to handwrite thank you notes, but I had that all the time. Handwrite a thank you card to anyone who has helped you in your business. Whether they gave you a referral that didn't even work out, doesn't matter. Send them a thank you note. They gave you a referral that did work out, definitely send them a thank you note, right? Anybody who maybe a mentor in the real estate industry, it doesn't have to be necessarily a potential client. Take this time to thank people. Step 4, mail them little gifts. So I know I said these were all going to be free. This is close to free. If you use, let me see if I can find this website. I'm going to type it here. It's called Gifty Link. You can send people little like cutesy free stuff. Like you can buy them like 1 coffee and stuff. To be full transparency, I haven't completely explored this. I got this from a friend, just discovered it. So I'm sharing you with it, even though it's even kind of new to me. You can send people like really little things. You can use send out cards, or AE cards comes to the KW events sometimes. You can send them little like brownies and stuff like that. Find a way to send them something super inexpensive, even if it's just a trinket that says, I'm thinking about you, because a touch is a touch. So I talk a lot about the different qualities of touch, and how about sending things that last rather than things that don't. But you can use consumable things as a touch too. It's just a different kind of touch. Real quick, is Autumn still on here? You hear me, Autumn? I know we're getting close to the end here, and if it cuts out, I'll jump on and give my last 2 tips. You guys can just click the same.
Hey, I'm still here.
You are here. Okay. Do we have will it cut us off?
Hold on a second. Oh, what's wrong with my video?
That's okay. I just wanted to know if we have a 40-minute.
No, you can keep going.
You can keep going. Okay, cool. All right. So the last, that was 4, mail them little gifts. And then 5 is social media. I'm going to give you 2 ways to use social media during this time. Note that this is not the first tip I said, right? The first tips I said were reach out directly, call, write notes, send them little things. That's better than social media because it's a direct touch, but it's also a mistake to ignore social media during this time. And I'm sure you guys have noticed everybody's on social media more. I have more than ever seen so many more pictures of people's dinners than I ever saw in my life, right? And not everybody's, not everybody's post is like, oh, wow, that was a really great thing that I'm so glad they showed me, right? People are just getting on, sharing their lives, and more people are watching than ever because they've got the time. And so what you want to do on social media right now is positive updates, videos of what's happening, good news, add value to your client's day. And the good rule for social media is that at least 2/3 of your info should be non-business, but you do want to sprinkle a third or a fourth of your stuff being new listing, whatever you're allowed to post, right? New listing, happy that my buyers got this. You can even go back and do flashbacks. I've been going through my phone and, oh yeah, there's that video of someone that got their Cutco set and was real excited about it and sent it to me. I'm going to post the testimonial now and tag the lady and she's going to talk more about it. There's no reason that you can't like post and congratulate people for the anniversary of the time they bought. What's up, Jerry? I just saw you get on. Hey. There's no reason that you can't post like anniversaries of people buying if you've been in the business long enough for an anniversary to come up. And if you've not, then remember that the first thing I said was just contribute any kind of value and be personal. One of my favorite ones right now, and you guys probably can see this because you already may have seen this because it's a KW agent, but Min does the dancing videos and stuff, and he's from the KW in South Philly. Give me a wave if you guys know Min at all. Anybody see these? No? All right. You gotta check out the videos. So he's a professional dancer, and he's taken his talent to Facebook, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. Now, if you're not a professional dancer, I don't necessarily recommend having that be your social video thing that you start your brand with. At the same time, videos of people who can't dance dancing is also pretty funny and endearing. So as someone who isn't a great dancer, what are you good at, right? Share that. So there's plenty of people who could share. Cooking is a big thing right now. Share a new recipe. If you're good at gardening, it's getting warm, show something, your newly blooming garden. Teach the rest of us how to not kill our plants. I've seen some great videos of people's kids. The idea is though, find a theme. My thing on social media over the last like year and a half has been funny things that my husband says. So my husband is from Chile. His first language is Spanish. He's completely fluent in English, but because we're a bilingual household, there's still like funny things that come up. So either I'll say something in Spanish that I thought was right and it's completely off and he's laughing his head off at me, or he discovers something in English that I never really thought about before. So for instance, one of my favorite stories is I live in West Philly, and my parents were here visiting, and we were all getting into my parents drive a van, and the whole family could fit in it, right? So we're getting in the van, and my husband yells, "Gunshot!" And literally everyone freezes and looks around like, what, where, and everybody gets a little worried. It took me a minute to realize he meant shotgun. He was calling the front seat. He got it mixed up. I shared those type of things on Facebook, and people love it. It's just a goofy little thing about stuff that happens between us that makes me laugh, and I share it with people, and I get a pretty big following from them, and people wait and they look for those posts. So if you can find something that's funny, something that's fun, and make a theme, you will build a brand on Facebook, and it doesn't have to be anything that's like through the roof unique. I have another agent who like his relationship with his wife, they're funny. They tease each other. They like playfully insult each other. And he posts those, and, because you know him, you know that they're happy and they're not real insults, but they crush each other, man. She's like, I wouldn't want to get on her bad side. He posts her like zingers and things that she says during the little like play fights that they have, and it's hilarious. That's all you have to do, is share the types of things that are really you. And the sixth thing that I'll share is another social media tip. Try interviewing other people. I know you can't go to people and interview them live right now, but just taking a few minutes to do a Zoom call and interview an expert that can add value to your sphere. So a couple ideas that I put down is find like a childcare expert, go through your database and like, is there a nanny, a daycare, a kindergarten teacher, like who's good with kids, and just get them to give like top 3 tips on keeping your kids busy during all this. Because people who have kids are going bonkers trying to keep them busy all day, do school with them. If the kids are younger than school, it's like even, wow, now you have to take care of the kid all day, do childcare, and try to do your job. So find someone who has some sort of authority with kids and interview them on how to keep your kids busy, have fun, and stay safe, you know, inside or doing social distancing. A lot of people are going to find value in that. Plus, you're now shining the light on a local either business owner or teacher in your area, that's giving value to them, right? So if you find someone who runs a daycare and get them to give some tips, you're also highlighting their business, which means the rule of reciprocity. They're going to want to give back to you and your business. Another one is interview a professional organizer. And if you don't know one, like just do some Googling, call one of them up and say, hey, we haven't met yet, but I'm a local real estate agent in the Philly, New Jersey area. I wanted to highlight you. I know a lot of people are stuck inside and really sick of their clutter. Could we do a quick video and you give like 5 tips on cleaning for people who are drowning in clutter right now? Or what a great thing to watch. And again, you're highlighting their business. That's opening the door for them to want to send you referrals or work with you later. And another tip of somebody that you could interview would be a local musician or an artist. Have them showcase their material on your page as someone to check out when we can all go back to attending concerts. I've seen some amazing guitar and singing and different performances online during all this. Why not shed the spotlight on someone talented in your community and share? The biggest thing you guys want to try to achieve on social media is to be the mayor of your town or your neighborhood. And Philly's very neighborhoody, so you can take even a very small area and just be the mayor of that. If you actually were the mayor, what would you be sharing on social media? You might be highlighting a local restaurant that's still open and doing deliveries or pickup that you can support during this time. Maybe you'd highlight, do a quick thank you to the medical workers in your community. You know, do you live close to Jefferson or Penn or one of the hospitals? Do you have doctors and nurses and first responders and stuff in your database, in your circle of influence? Highlight them and thank them. Do you have workers like that in your past clients? So maybe it's not the anniversary of their house, but you could post the picture of the closing because you're tagging the person and thanking them for going to work during this time. So the idea is to shine the light on other people. Ask, how can I help? How can I serve? What value can I bring you during this time? And social media is a great way to do this. This is where new buyers and sellers come from, these reaching out, these touches when other people are pulling back and stepping out of the industry and not doing anything because they can't figure out a way to do it. They're letting their fear stop them. Remember what I said at the beginning, don't let what you can't do during this time keep you from what you can do. Use these 6 ways to reach out. So my question for you guys is how committed are you to what you're building? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you a 2, a 5, or are you a 12 on a scale of 1 to 10? Maybe you can go from 6 to 8 right now. Your efforts might not make anything happen overnight, but it will happen. Results come from activity. And I can tell you for sure that if you do no activity during this time, there will be no results. If you do some activity, you've got a chance of some results, and you've got a pretty good chance. Consistency is key, and you want to celebrate every win right now. super quick, I'm going to wrap this up with sharing what Cutco is doing to help you right now. You can show some love and some appreciation to the VIPs on your list, and you can get referral gifts and thank yous either for upcoming closings or referral gifts or things that happened in the past. So we are still engraving during all this. Like I said earlier, putting your logo, brand, personal or personalizing to the client if you want. The lead time is about 3-4 weeks. Some of you found out recently that we can direct ship items to your clients. We can even put a personalized letter. So if you can't deliver them right now, we can ship them to you and you can mail them, or you can, for a couple extra bucks, have us ship them directly to you. We can either fit in your current budget of closing gifts, or we can get you a gift that lowers your gifting budget. And most times people get the amount of Cutco that they would use, the amount of closing gifts that they would give for a year. And right now people are just getting slightly lower amounts. We can split your payments over as many as 5 to 12 months. So the super quick review, if you have not heard of Cutco before, I know I've been kind of like referencing through all of this, but we're just putting your logo, name, and number on the Cutco piece. So it's something that they'll use every day. And now more than ever, people are cooking every single day. I did a Facebook post the other day, who's using their Cutco more than normal, and got 111 replies during the first day. Everybody's cooking more than even in normal times. So we put your logo, name, and number on there. Most people buy a year's supply. We can split your payments over as many as 5 to 12 months. And just so you have a reminder of one thing this can help you with financially, typical closing gifts, you're only allowed to write off $25. With Cutco, you just have to talk to your CPA, get them to put it in the advertising or the promotional part of your, put it in that category, and then it's 100% deductible. So what I love about my job is I don't have to get people to spend more money on an extra program. Most people are already giving some type of gifts. We start as low as $65 and go up from there. Most people buy gifts that are somewhere between $100 and $200. And we have luxury gifts at a higher price point that are bigger for your agents, like for your clients like that, like a whole wood block. But most of the gifts anywhere from $65 to $200. What I'm going to do is an appreciation. Normally I would bring some sort of lunch for you guys, and obviously that's impossible to do on a virtual thing. So we're going to do a drawing. I'm going to put my cell phone number here at the bottom in the chat box. It's 717-575-0975. And what I want you to do, if you want more info on the closing gifts, and if you want to be in the drawing, I'm going to do a drawing for a free Cutco knife for anybody who texts me their name and their email. Put a star beside your name if you have a closing in the next 30 to 60 days. I know there's all kinds of stuff going on, but if you have something, you can put the star. So name and email, and anybody that does a quick call with me to get a personalized quote for you is going to go in the drawing. For anybody that orders, I will personally buy you up to $100 in Cutco to say thank you for your order. And for the first 3 people that order, it won't be 100, it'll be 150. I see we got Bobby so far. Oh, from the condo shops. Hey, buddy. So you're going to just text me your name and your email and put a star beside your name if you've got a closing. And anybody that does the quote with me is going to go in the drawing. Thanks, Jerry. Good to see you. Got a text there. Anybody that does a quote with me, they're going to get their name in the drawing to win something. The first 3 people that buy will get $150 for free, and anybody that orders will get $100 for free. Even if you're new, that's fine to get a quote and still get yourself in the drawing. I love working with new agents. And even if you're not ready to do closing gifts yet, we can still talk. So you guys, thank you very much. Give me a wave if you got something that you can use, one thing that you can implement out of those 6 free tips. Give me a wave if you got something you got to do. Cool. If you are brave enough, can you type in the chat box which one is going to be your first action that you're going to work on? Jerry's given me a testimonial there. Thank you. Appreciate that. So the 6 tips, if you didn't get all the notes, is 1, 10 check-in calls a day. Sean says he's going to build his gold group. That's great. That is definitely a good first action. So 10 check-in calls a day was another one. Anybody going to do that? Jamie's going to create a video for the client. Great. We had send a video. That was tip number 2. 3 was handwritten thank you cards. My grandma would love that one. thank anybody that's done anything for you in your business. Mail some little gifts. One thing I did for St. Patrick's Day was I mailed just a lottery ticket. They only cost like $1 each. I don't know if they're still selling lottery tickets right now, but you can try it. Create social media. And there was like 2 sub points there. You could either do some videos of yourself, or you could do like an interview someone else, shine the light on someone else in your community. And so 5 and 6 were both social media tips. So yeah, text me below there which one you're going to take action on. And no matter what, remember guys, nothing lasts forever, but what you do during this time will set you up for what's going to happen the next couple of months from now. And you want to hit the ground running rather than be starting from zero. Whether you're new or you've been in the business for 20 years, it's best to take action now. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. So thanks so much, you guys. Really appreciate it. John's going to shine some light on local businesses. Bobby, yes, I'll call you back and get you a personalized quote. We've got some stuff on the website, but it won't be personalized for your volume and the discounts that we're doing right now. So I'll call you for a specific one. And thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Whatever happens today, remember that today's the day you met the sharpest girl you know, the knife girl. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hey, absolutely. I'm going to jump off, and
Thank you.
it was really nice to meet everybody. You guys have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.